Hello and welcome back to Blackwatch Intel. My name is Crashy, and today I wanted to share a big tip with you. And it's not really a tip, it's kind of like just some information that is really obvious that I'm clickbaiting as a tip, because I definitely want views and I crave attention and I want people to like and comment on this video. But aside from that, it is actually something really important, and I kind of want to somewhat plug the app Oversumo. Now, I haven't actually been super into that app. Whenever it first came out, I actually didn't like it, and now since the new updates, I actually think it's pretty cool. It's something cool to look at. You can kind of look at some of your hero stats, and I actually use Oversumo and Overbuff mostly. Master Overwatch for me, for whatever reason, is just slow. Like, I feel like the information's never there, like on time. It's never up to date, and even though you can update it, it still feels like it's behind. But the huge tip that I'm selling today is that, you know, obviously by the title, the huge tip that will win you games, or that, you know, will help you rank up, is that you need to do more focusing and spend more energy in your games on learning and executing on dying less than you need to actually executing whatever it is that your role is, more specifically trying to do damage, because that's often what people try to find themselves doing. And that's whether you're a support or a tank or a DPS, especially DPS players who often kind of tunnel vision. They see the kill, and I fall victim to this as well. It's not, I'm not just giving you some arbitrary information. I actually want to talk about this. This is something that I've been trying to pay attention to, and comparing my stats versus, the pro players and, big streamers and people that are just genuinely in a higher rank than me. And the thing that I notice is that my deaths per 10 minutes is like notably higher. And that's something that gets kind of embarrassing when you start to think about it, because I have great games. I mean, I have games where, my kill death ratio is 3, 4, 5.0. I'm, doing insane. But then you look at the deaths and I went 60 and 17, but 17 deaths is a lot. And that's obviously a super long game where, a lot was going on. But, you kind of sit down with yourself, even if, sometimes I review my own footage, and I need to actually bring that to the channel at some point, because I do it very rarely. But I'll look at my own footage, and I like I said, I want to bring that to the channel as a self-coaching addition to the coaching series, which I also need to kind of reintroduce to the channel and do another video on. So make sure y'all check out the description box below. Submit your gameplays. I know I have 1 or 2 sitting in there that I've been meaning to check out, so I just need to do that. And when you look at your gameplay back, you start to see those little nuances, those little things that you just oh man, that's really dumb. Like, I could have just totally avoided that death. And so now it kind of challenges your perspective in game, and you start thinking match to match, well, what can I do to not die? And you'll be in the middle of a fight, you'll be in the middle of a duel, and you're then thinking, well, instead of trying to get the kill, how can I finish up this kill? How can I get, in the back line, or how can I, stick on them or kill that Mercy or whatever? You start thinking about, how can I do that, but how can I do that without dying? And so every single game now, I'm going into these games and I'm focusing so hard. My number 1 priority is not to die. My second priority is to try to fulfill my role. So when I'm healing, I'm trying to put myself in a strong position. I want to make sure that I'm able to get to my teammates, but ultimately, if they're not following this new, number 1 golden rule of not dying, I'm not going to jeopardize my position to try to keep them alive. I mean, I will do the best that I can, but it almost becomes that unspoken threshold, that, non-invisible kind of, that area of the map where you're just okay, I'm standing at the top, defense Gibraltar, I see the cart going under me, I see my Genji in the back line, and all of a sudden, me being Ana, I'm like, you know what, Genji, I gotta let you go, man. I gotta let you do your thing so I can drop back and get up with the team and keep myself from dying. Because sure, I can shoot him with a couple more heals, sure, maybe he even gets a pick, but what happens when the 2 of us die? Well, now that's a numbers advantage for the enemy team. So ultimately, again, the goal is this: focus and spend energy and attention on dying less, and I actually promise you that you're probably going to climb rank for it. Now, this can always go hand in hand with some communication, which I will add this as a secondary tip. I don't want this video to be so blatantly obvious. Use your awareness of this newfound perspective and translate that to every one of your teammates in game. Now, I'm a person that truly does not like using voice chat in comms. And, I just don't like to be in the voice setting of these team games. People get super tilted, it frustrates me, and then I start playing bad. But if you are a person that likes to communicate, if you are a person that likes to, talk with the team and strategize with the team, start telling them, start giving them the instructions. Hey guys, I think we should back up now. Hey, try not to die. Hey, we have 2 down, back up. Anybody that's alive right now, don't die. That's a big one that I say in quotation marks. Anybody that's alive right now, don't die. Another thing that I say often is, if you are alive right now, die or run away. And that comes and ties into the time management of the game, which is another huge thing about the game. So do your best not to die, and if you're in a situation where it's a stagger-like situation where you either need to run away or die, focus on that. Start thinking about when you should be dying and standing still to actually die. Don't prolong and waste time. So that's kind of like a two-parter, obviously telling you a little bit about time management in this game, but also just explaining that your perspective needs to come from, the resiliency to make decisions based on your life and trying to play for your life. So hopefully this was informative. I hope that, this tip, while being super obvious in a way, is actually something that I think, regardless of how obvious it is, needs to be emphasized. Every single game, every single second, every single life, on every role and every hero. So thanks again for checking out this video. Please not leave without leaving a like and subscribe for future content. I appreciate it again, and I'll see you on the next video.
Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel the fire inside of me? Do you see the sparks that I'm setting free? Does the beat take you over?